Good evening, Prescott Valley. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting of Tuesday, January 13, 2015. Kathy, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Gummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Avalos?
Yes.
Chairperson Brinkman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Tissot?
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman?
Here.
Commissioner Trevini?
Okay, the next item is approval of the agenda. We're going to move items 8, B and C, and item 9, A and B, up under announcements, item 5, so we can get our folks out of here in a reasonable time. If everybody's okay with that, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, it carries. Next item is approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes for November 17th, 2014. Work-study meeting minutes. If everybody's had a chance to review those and there's no changes, do we have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve the work study for November 17th.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carries. And then approval of the November 17th, 2014 regular meeting minutes. If there's no changes, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the November 17th regular meeting.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving right along. We're going to move right into announcements. And the first item that we have is we have a new member on our commission, and that's Kevin Trevini. And this is his first meeting. And Kevin, we welcome you and look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, we got a lot of work to do this year, so we can use all the help we can get. Okay, our next item is the Polar Bear Splash Recap.
Good evening, Commissioners. If you'll turn your eyes or perhaps maybe guard them for at least some of the photos here. I'd like to let everyone know that this year's Polar Bear Splash was a great success from a weather standpoint, and from that standpoint it also discouraged some folks to come out because it was nice and chilly this year. Water was down to about 34 degrees, and even though it was bright and sunny, the wind was blowing and the temperatures were down, so we had a fantastic time. Mother Nature came to play, as you well know, over the New Year's holiday, and provided some snow, so there was some fun snow sledding opportunities. But our folks were out there in force. We have our polar bears pictured at the very top jumping in this year. Quite a few competitors, some with a little more encouragement, as you see the hand behind the head for that one young person from his parent participating out there. And then, of course, to my right, your left, is our Ice Princess. So he was able to come out victorious in that challenge amongst many competitors out there. But we had several hundred folks in attendance. Our fabulous sponsor, Backburner, was there assisting and providing a breakfast of pancakes and goodies for everyone that were in attendance. We thank all of our sponsors that came to the table with the polar bear prizes. That's what those polar bears are jumping in for. We had our annual duck race coming down the slide, all of those goodies, and a fantastic celebration and kicking into the New Year's with Polar Bear Splash, and look forward to seeing everyone again next season as we thaw out on the in-between.
This year was a good year. It was a little cooler than it has been, so a little more challenging. That was great. Okay, our next item is the daddy-daughter date night.
Yes, of course, I've had to talk with staff in regards to their photo selections concerning this. But daddy-daughter date night is scheduled coming up on February 20th, 2015. We encourage everyone to register for that program. This is available at a cost of $35 per couple. If you do have an additional daughter you'd like to bring, she would be at $15 on top of the $35 registration cost. It is available for young ladies ages 3 to 12. We will be participating and holding our event over at the Casa Senior Center, and registration, we will provide you with directions to that site. We are limited to a total of 25 couples for this event. It is a fabulous evening taking place from 6 to 9 p.m. Include a deli-style dinner, dancing, fun activities, and lots of prizes throughout the night. It is a very, very fun atmosphere, and would encourage everyone to come out, and it does fill on a first-come, first-served basis. So you can give us a call at the Parks and Recreation office at 759-3090, or you can also visit us online at www.pvaz for your online registration for attendance that particular evening. And again, that's being hosted on February 20th.
That sounds good. That's always a very popular event, and I think that pretty well fills up each year, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's move on to the next item, which is our men's 3-on-3 basketball leagues.
Fortunately, that slide didn't pop in. My apologies. But the little notes that I do have tell me that the men's 3-on-3 basketball league, which is hosted at the Glassford Hill Middle School, will be taking registrations starting now, with games starting the week of March 19th. The registration will close on February 28th. It is $125 per team, and games will consist of 3 12-minute quarters with a 7-game schedule and a single elimination tournament at the completion of the regular season schedule. The games are Thursday nights, again held at the Glassford Hill Middle School, with our registration starting January 5th, which would have been last week, and will continue through February 28th. Games will start March 19th, and a mandatory managers meeting will be held on Thursday, March 12th. So any other questions, please give Jessica a phone call at 759-3093.
Let's see, last year was our first year for that, right?
You are
and that was
correct,
actually
sir.
Pretty successful.
It did very well, so we're looking at seeing that momentum continue into the next season and getting everyone signed up and ready to go.
Sounds good. Okay, now we'll move on, and we just happen to have a slide for it.
We do, it's incredible.
Adult softball.
Our spring softball season will start Monday, March 1st. Registration opens January 5th and will continue on through February 16th. Spring softball plays on Sundays between noon and 7 p.m., and there will be no games scheduled on Easter weekend, April 5th. Cost is $270 per team. This will, again, surround a 7-game regular season with a following tournament. We register for men's D1, 2, and 3, as well as a co-ed D1 and D2 league. Again, for more information, please contact Ms. Jessica Compton at 759-3093.
Sounds good. We're going to move on to the items we moved up, and so who do we want to go first, Nick or?
We will actually start with Richard.
Richard, okay. So we're going to move on to the loose drive, multiple use path, and get a little update.
Hi, how's it going tonight?
Going good.
Good. My name is Richard Schleicher. I'm an engineer with Public Works and got hired about a year ago, so going to give you some updates here on our most recent phase of the loose drive widening project. It's phase 4. All the projects have been funded by community development block grants, as is this one. Here's an overview of the project site, the boundaries. As you can see, actually phase 4, it's a little blurry there, but phase 4 is the blue that connects into the park, the urban forest there. We'll be building, and I have some pictures later I'll show you a little bit better, but we'll be connecting the multi-use path in the park there onto Loose Drive, which will eventually lead to more multi-use path building along Navajo, the PV pipeline path right there. All 4 phases together, including an additional phase that's not shown here, but it was not shown because it wasn't built right off of Loose Drive. It's within the park, the multi-use path. We're funded with $1.6 million of total funding, all from CBDG grants. A little bit of information, project conception here. The initial design was performed by David Associates, a town engineer. Grants funds were secured by the Management Services Department. Ryan Judy led that effort. Once funds were secured, we hired on Civil Tech Engineering to finish the design. Gordon and David left it at about 30% plans, and Civil Tech finished for us and helped us put together our bid documents. And then the low bid was recently awarded to Earth Resources Corporation for about $235,000. A little bit of information about shared use paths is actually the term that I recently went to a ADOT facility design, and they were going with shared use path, but they're commonly referred to as multi-use paths. They're engineered to comply with ADA standards for safety and accessibility, so you won't have very steep slopes on these paths, cross slopes. It's very safe. They're obviously an excellent transportation means for non-vehicular and pedestrian traffic. It encourages healthy lifestyles, obviously the walking, and has some real benefits for the surrounding environment. Just getting that many more cars off the road is always a good thing. Here's a picture, which this was actually just finished. Now this concrete was poured last week, and this picture taken this morning once they got all the blankets off. But essentially you can see here, we tried to stay as minimally impactful as possible. If you notice, there's a swerve in the path towards the top of that picture, and that's actually to avoid an existing tree that was irrigated and planted obviously in the past, and we wanted to try to save as many as we could and all of the landscaping along the way. So we will finish. The project's not quite done. Hydro seeding all the slopes will be hydro seeded, and some landscaping will be added as well, and we're working with these guys to decide what that will be. We did get some nice feedback from the students at the Mountain View Elementary School. Actually, the contractor, I can't take credit for it, received these. Lots of notes and a drawing from all of the students in a particular class. I'm not sure. I believe it was the first grade class there. And they just said, their thanks for keeping them safe and adding the improvements, the sidewalk and the road and such. So that was kind of a nice touch, and not something I've seen before. And here's another little before and after, and like I said, not quite finished here. We'll pretty it up and add some new fences and get that grass planted back over there on the right side of the after picture. But essentially what you had before on the left was a drainage way that we've now added storm drain pipe, ran it all the way down to the park, and covered it with concrete. So where I was standing in that second picture is actually on Loose Drive right at the Mountain View School. So it connects with the sidewalk there, and will eventually lead all the way to the PV pipeline multi-use path. That's all I have today.
Oh, that's great. I mean, these are really important. And you'd mentioned the transportation aspect. We have a lot of bike riders, and we don't have Pat with us tonight, but he runs a lot of mountain bikes. They're looking forward to these paths. Mm-hmm. People use these all the time. I mean, there may be times you drive by and you don't see anybody, but there's people using them, jogging, walking, pushing their kids, and I think these are really important projects. So it looks like you've done an excellent job with this. And we like the little swerve because some of us are tree huggers, so,
Of course.
Yeah. So it looks really great, and thank you. Any of the comments from our commission?
Well, just the safety aspect of getting the kids around the school area back and forth on sidewalks now is an amazing thing we've looked at many years ago, and now it's a reality. And I thank you so much for all the hard work and the great engineering of this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
And I would like to express my thanks on behalf of the Park and Rec Department staff in working with our Public Works team over there. They've taken a big hold of the projects over the entirety of its 4 phases, and will continue on in providing that transportation, and I like to view it as a recreational amenity with those different projects with the multi-use paths across the board. As we well know, we have the multi-core here. We also will have in the future the pipeline. We know what it's done for us in regards to that corridor along Loose Drive and the frontage at the park, being able to help out those folks, and we know how it ties in with our exercise and fitness program equipment that we have running through Mountain Valley Park. So they've been tremendous in doing that, and it's been with great pride in working with Richard through this particular project, coming on board with the town here just recently. So in doing that, would also be remiss if I failed to mention Mr. Ron Pine, who's been supervising that and many other past projects that we've worked on together here in support of Richard this evening and other staff. And then also Mr. Ryan Judy for his administrative oversight of the grant programs for all of that. So we're very thankful for everyone, and I think a good, strong, true showing of teamwork and partnership throughout the town and cross platforms for departments. So thank you to everybody, and we appreciate your support as well.
We really do. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to Nick. And Nick, let's say you have about 42 reports, I think, here.
Yep.
So we'll let you pick which one you're going to start with.
I think we're going to go with Antelope to begin. How you guys doing? For those who don't know me, I'm Nick Grabluski. I'm turf and irrigation technician for the Parks Department. Over the summer and into the fall, we worked on a Antelope Park expansion project. It was probably one of the largest scale projects we've done in-house. As you can see from the slide, the gray shaded area is just a lot of turf expansion. Those red circles are actually light poles. We added curbing to the center island, as well as moving the fence over along the soccer field. What you can't see, we also did quite a bit of curb work around the playgrounds. Here's some before and kind of during construction slides. You can see where they've dug out and excavated for the new curbing as well as AV base. That's how the current, the old swing set and playground was, with the sand instead of wood 5-bar that we typically have nowadays. As you can see on the, I guess my right, your guys' left would be at the far end of the parking lot. We actually added all asphalt to that and added a concrete sidewalk extending along the edge of that. So here's some after. This is what the park currently looks like. We were able to actually get the grass to establish pretty well for just one application. We'll continue to work on that through the spring, as well as some other areas around the park. There's an example of the light pole as well as the median, where we have planned to, and actually in the process of getting wood chips to mulch those medians with all the trees in it. There's the new concrete curbing around the swing set, and also the new ramada that the community's just loved. It's very rare that you go to that park now and don't see people using that ramada and just using the park. It was definitely the size for a community park, but a little unrefined, and now it finally is being able to be used for what it was meant.
Yeah, this park from, we tour the parks every year, and we came up with a list of comments and things we'd like to see done. In fact, I went back and reviewed that here a couple of days ago and wiped out all of my comments, and this has just been such a impressive project. This park has completely changed and is just a beautiful addition to our park system. So, thank you very much for that. It really turned out nice. So I know a lot of people involved in this and spearheading it. This is just really impressive.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely multi-departmental, just kind of a huge undertaking, and obviously had some help from contractors with AP&S, and everyone's really, and I know in the department we're all very proud of it, and we're hoping we can kind of continue to do this. We did Tonto South last year, Antelope this year, and just kind of keep bettering the park system for the community.
Yeah, all it takes is money.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
And I think, as Nick said, it's bringing communities back together, and we've been talking about that for many years. How do we get this community back to our parks? And with Nick's testimony tonight, last year we started with Tonto South. This year we've done Antelope. Now we're looking to another future with Tonto North. And it's bringing the people back to our parks. It's bringing back that community pride we all talked about. And the kudos to Brian's staff, because for these guys making all this stuff happen. I mean, they're wearing many hats.
If you look at how this park was, it was kind of a mess. It had some fairly good playing fields, but it wasn't really a park. And now it is a park. And so it's really impressive. So thank you very much.
Nick, we toured this park a number of years ago, and it was a disaster then. So it's kind of nice to see it coming back to being a park instead of a mess, like
Exactly.
the other commissioners said. What a disaster. This wasn't inviting for children or adults or anyone. It was a slummy-looking mess. And to see what you have done, and I went and toured it, early fall, and everything that's changed since then is really impressive. I think you and the staff have done a great job.
Well, thank you very much.
And with that, we've also added ball fields.
Yeah.
We keep talking about our ball
Right.
fields, and we've added, do we have a couple ball fields now for baseball?
At Antelope, we actually had the 2 existing, and this would kind of be more just a common space, picnic, some pickup, sport recreation, but nothing for as far as leagues go. But it kind of gets people off of the sports fields and onto some common area turf if they just want to relax and are able to keep the fields open for the sports leagues.
Can we use soccer there also?
This is probably
Possibly,
not really
definitely pickup games and things of that nature. For sure, the kids will definitely be enjoying that.
But the improved turf.
Yeah, you remember this was just all dirt
Yeah.
and weeds. There weren't any
Oh, yeah.
trees there. It was
Dump.
And even the ball fields were in terrible shape.
just a mess. So
What are these parks?
I haven't seen this one yet.
Oh, yeah. You'll see it.
okay, thanks,
Right.
Nick. And what else you got for us?
All right, well, now we're on to the ET Water second phase of the grant update. As you all know, we were able to save a considerable amount of water and money last year. This past year, we were able to get the grant for a second year and implement it in the rest of our park system. So now we are 100% online with the system. Right there is a slide of just kind of a breakdown of usage from when we didn't, the last year that park didn't have the system to the present time. The biggest one you might see is Tano South, where it's 835,000 gallons more used, but that's also over an acre of turf added to what it was. Staff, we just continue to love this product. It saves us countless hours in driving around, adjustments, programming, as well as it's really done a great job of conserving water and keeping our fields and our plant life healthy. Some of our biggest ones you might see are like the amphitheater. We've saved over 1 million gallons in 2 years, and you see the quality of that turf. I mean, it's really hard to argue with the results that we're getting.
Yeah, this is really outstanding, and in all of the projects and all of the things that we look at, water conservation is always a factor. And when I see that bottom number down there in gallons saved to date, over 6 million, that's a lot of water.
It is.
And so this project and the getting the grant and implementing this over these couple of years has just been a fantastic project. And now everything is everything automated now, or do we still have a couple left?
Yes, there's some of the Stonebridge parks where we have the software, but aren't installed yet. But for the most part, everything else is across the board. All of our inner community parks are online.
You end up with a better quality of the turf in the park. You end up with saving water, and if you look at the paper, you see that all of the communities around are very concerned with water. So this to me is a very big effort and a very important project. Any other comments?
I have a question going back to the Antelope Park, Nick. How many parking spaces are there?
I'm sorry, I don't know that offhand. I know we basically added, I'd say we increased it by 33% or so, so we definitely expanded. I want to say just a rough estimate, right around 20 spaces we've added just in that one area that we did. And there's probably now, I would say, close to 70 spaces now for leagues to park in, as well as some added handicap and some more accessibility to the site with handicap ramps and things of that nature.
Thank you.
And Kevin, that was an issue that we were looking at before, because when you have tournaments or games there, then you have a lot of cars trying to park, and it was really quite a mess before these improvements. So, okay, what else we got?
All right, I think this is the last one for me. No more slides, but it is just an update on Wander Way Park in Stone Ridge. I don't know how familiar you guys are with that park, it has a nice gazebo and turf area, volleyball court. It also had some natural landscape dirt mounds that were just kind of mosquito infested. We were getting complaints and no one really seemed to enjoy them. So we knocked those mounds down and we're going to add it to our seating schedule in the spring. So we'll be turfing those areas and just kind of adding to the aesthetics, as well as kind of keeping down on the mosquitoes and some of the pests we've been getting.
Yeah, I think we looked at that on our tour, and did you describe that as a natural plant areas? But I think we were kind of wondering what is going on here.
Yes, the park was constructed, 2005, roughly in that window of time. So it precluded our oversight of its construction design. And so in doing that, the developer really had it established as a minimized area. Yes, as best as you could describe it, is a little bit more natural. So we were going through that transition process and engaged with the neighbors. Matter of fact, Commissioner Avalos was out there during a process of restoration on the gazebo, I think it was. In doing that, so we had some engagement there. We'd had engagement prior. We followed that up. So we had some neighborhood staff interaction. And what we came up with was ultimately this plan. We felt best not to reinvest back into that planting area, and we found a lot of support coming from the neighborhood in that aspect. And it all came basically to agreement to go through and turf the area. And so through our exploration, or should I say Nick's exploration in this process, what we found is that there was going to be a significant amount of irrigation opportunity for us to be able to tap into there, not deplete the rest of the system, and then be able to expand in this fashion. And so that's the process that we went through. It helps us continue in regards to our maintenance levels that we have working through there, and meets the objectives of all parties concerned. So I think a definite win-win for everyone, and then it becomes a better play space as well too.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really good improvement.
Are you keeping the volleyball court? You are?
Yes, nothing's changed as far as any other aspect of the site.
Okay. Well, Nick, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add? I mean...
No, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much.
That was only 3 projects.
Yeah, it really wasn't too bad.
Thank you so much.
I think we owe it all to Nick for his work on our turf. When we go out there and look at those turf fields, it's a lot of Nick, because of Nick with his irrigation and his knowledge of all that. It's why our grass is green. Keep up the good work.
And 6 million gallons in the bank.
That's right.
Okay, let's see. Next we're going to go on to the department updates, and we have the director's report.
Well, in covering a 2-month period, just basically, as you well know, we've had plenty of fun in regards to working with our volunteers, with the Over the Hill gang, and some developments out at Fane Park and our trails. We've had a couple of fun holiday opportunities that have jumped into that. We've also gone through the process of council support in acquiring our new playground at Tonto South. Most recently, we were able to meet up with our vendor out there. We'll have a little bit more information on that later tonight. But a lot of lead-up work, preparation work, securing of donations in kind efforts, a multitude of things. Been quite active throughout that period of time. So with that all being said, as well as some grant operations and things of that nature, I'm happy to answer any questions you have concerning my reports over the month of November and December and the departments as a whole.
I don't think I have any questions. I just noted that skating seemed to be pretty successful this year.
It has been, and I know that we're looking forward to our next upcoming commission meeting. We'll be able to bring a report to you in regards to that. That was another one of those elements in working because we were going into the fiscal year season without that as a possibility, with the Sundogs going dark for the season. However, that was able to come back to the forefront. We were able to produce ice, go through in regards to recruiting staff, training them, getting our equipment and gear in operation and ready to go. But yes, it has been successful, and we'll be able to bring you a full rounded report. Unfortunately, tonight is our last night of skating for this season. But it's been a good calendar of operation for us, and everyone has taken definite, strong advantage of that, and they've been out there in force with their attendance, and so we're looking forward to that possibility of continuing again into the next fiscal year with our skate season.
Very good. Are there any questions? Or
Did our fences hold up to the the sledding down the hill, of course?
I believe so, yes.
Well, I know they take a beating every year, but what a blast for the kids, and that's about the only hills they can find.
Definitely. Between those and then being out at Viewpoint Park, and with that expanding parking lot, people were able to take a much greater degree of use out there. So it was very, very nice being able to have that, and it was a good snow season. So
very good.
It's very nice.
Usual.
You bet.
Okay, if there's no other comments, we're going to move on to the chairperson's report. And the first item that I have is the Tree Advisory Committee met today and came up with some tentative plans. You know, we have a 5-year plan for our tree program, so we have the potential for a homeowner tree care workshop, and we're looking at in April. We'll come up with a final date with that, and that would be hopefully with some local businesses providing expertise, and it would be open, and we bring in the community. We'd like to see maybe a large number of our local people come out and learn. I know when I came here, I had no idea what would grow or how to grow it here. This was a climate I had not been in, so it's been challenging over the first few years getting my landscaping at home going. So this will be something pretty exciting, I think, and this fits all into our plan, and actually will fit in with our tree inventory. So
It'll help also when people want to plant trees. We all plant cottonwoods and everything else around grows quickly, and then all of a sudden you pour that sidewalk, and then you've got your sidewalk pumping from roots, and it will be a great help for citizens who want to just find out what they can actually put in the yard.
yeah, and we want to do this probably around the Civic Center library area, and you'll be able to go out and see some of the trees that have been planted in the last few years that may not be doing well, and I think our inventory is going to really be an education as to what does and doesn't work, and we'll be able to track that ongoing. I don't know, do you want to add any more to that? I think not at this time. But another item that I had was this is going to be kind of a busy year for us. We still have development guidelines that we need to review and get approved. And then with that, the department master plan and look at, you know, all the things we've talked about before, staffing levels and asset inventory. And Brian has some of those components, but it's very important that we really formalize some of this. So when you see our work studies, they are going to be work studies. So that's about all I have. And is there any questions? If not, we will move on to Tree Advisory Board business, and Brian's going to tell us about some grant updates.
Yes, sir. As the Commission's aware of, we have submitted 2 grants, and the first one was our tree grant through the Arizona Forestry Division, and we were successful in receiving that. We were also a pilot project community and tree inventory. And part of that grant application was the procurement of a new Trimble unit for GPS coordinates so that we could create a layer, inventory all of our trees within our parks, and complete that function, as well as recruiting volunteers to assist through that process. So we're in the beginning phases of those, but I am very happy to report that we have procured that Trimble unit. So it is now in our inventory. Larry Prentice, our GIS manager, is going through the review process. He'll be establishing a training program for staff, and then as time permits, we'll also be able to establish that for our volunteers and being able to go out there. This was a huge tool that'll benefit a multitude of departments, but this unit updates and upgrades our system, that original system from 2006. So it'll be a very useful tool for the entirety of the town. Again, this was a $15,000 grant with a matching component, a 50-50 matching component. We were very successful in that, and we will have completed the first of a 4-stage process in this grant season there. In following that, we also submitted a $10,000 grant for the Community Challenge Grant, again also through the Arizona Forestry Division. And this project is earmarked towards exactly what Chairperson Brinkman indicated earlier tonight with the homeowners clinic or workshop, or working out those details and going through that, but also then a right-of-way tree inventory. So I'll also be working with our Public Works team in regards to assisting them in creating that layer of data, selecting a vendor, and facilitating that grant process as well. So the department's been very successful in procuring grants this season. Those are the 2 that were available. We secured both. We secured 25% of the total available grant funding in each one of those programs. So I would say we did very well in that system, as well as then also being one of 4 communities throughout the state in their pilot program. So definitely developing a strong rapport with the agency and benefiting this community here. So with that being said, the grants are very, very important, and with us being involved as a Tree City USA community, that would have been slim to none in being able to be in that system and operating. So very proud to have that and up and going, and we'll be able to bring more updates, but we're now working on a quarterly basis. But our objective is actually to have all elements of each grant completed by the end of June of this year.
Yeah, it's going to be, it seems like kind of an aggressive schedule, but really I think it'll work out very well. So we'll be moving into that. And then the next item is the Tree City 2015 application update.
Yes, we have completed our submission. All items have been registered as complete for review by the Arizona Forester, as well as then also through the Arbor Day Foundation. Once those reviews are complete, we will have secured our Tree City USA as well as also our growth status. If we are successful with both, believe it or not, folks, we will be celebrating our 10th year as a Tree City USA community this year. So I think we need to look at some of the planning and celebration behind that achievement as well, and bring those accolades to Town Council once they are secured in doing that. And then it will be our 4th year for our growth award status. So we're very excited about that. But I think all of you should take or receive a pat on the back for your planning, because with our 5-year plan and actually some of the contributions that you personally have made to the program have helped us reach these goals. So thank you all very, very much for that, and serving this community very well in doing those things. So congratulations, and I hope to be able to bring that award status, and then if we are successful in that, I would encourage you to attend this year's Arbor Day celebration out at the state capitol, where you'll receive that recognition.
Sounds good.
You know, Brian, I think I would thank you personally for what you've done. I understand the paperwork in doing any of these grants is just horrendous, and I can appreciate all the work that went into getting whatever monies that you did, even though it was matching funds. I'm just delighted that you were able to get it for the town. And I, for one, am very proud of what you've done and your staff has done for this, and I'm delighted that I can be a part of it in a small way.
Thank you. Like I said, you all should be commended for what you've been able to design and put forward there. So, thank you.
Okay, let's see, we have Tonto, yes. Under old business, we have Tonto North Playground. You touched on it earlier.
I did. As you know, we were able to go to council, secured that recommendation and award. So we processed all the necessary paperwork, sat down with our vendor, went through all of our different timelines, as well as then also the selection process and colors, which did not deviate from anything that you have seen in your presentations, as well as the neighborhood's request from their meetings that they participated in well. So what we have right now, as of this afternoon, I do not have installation dates or anything like that, but our timeline is, once this is processed this week, we have a 2 to 4 week window for construction of all of the playground elements. It'll be about a week's worth of shipping time, and then roughly about a 3 to 4 day of install. So ultimately what we're aiming for sometime between mid to late February, and then all of the different coordination and planning that will go behind that. But once I have more information at the end of this week, I'm hoping we'll be able to secure more dates, engage you all in regards to those plans, and then work accordingly.
Brian, is it still your intention to invite the community, the neighbors, to help on the installation piece?
Yes, ma'am. Part of that construction process will be is definitely following the manufacturer's guidelines as well as their approved installer. So once we go through those timelines of who we're working with, how it's going to happen, then we'll go through that engagement process, reaching out much like what we did as it related to the neighborhood gathering, and incorporate those folks and the general public as a whole for any of those elements that we go through in constructing the playground. There are things that we do have to do that are not included in that construction. So part A will be prepping the site. So it'll be removal of all of the different elements that are currently existing. And then also, once the playground is completely installed, we've satisfied all of those elements, then we have to go back in with safety material. And we'll definitely need a lot of help for that process. And then in other communities they worked in the past, it's always a fantastic, because it's a powder-coated process, to be able to maintain it. And just like a good car, you want to take care of that. And so any waxing of that playground would also help too for a longevity standpoint. So those will be a couple of those key elements that we would like to do. And then of course inviting everyone to come for a ribbon cutting ceremony and enjoying the site. So it's been a long missed element in that park for about 7 years now. So I know I will celebrate and jump high and enjoy the slides. So
Well, I think the whole neighborhood will too.
Right.
We've had some good participation in picking the equipment and input, so I think this is another example of making the parks really work for the community.
Brian, anybody who is interested in participating in volunteering and such, is there a way for them to kind of stay updated as it moves towards? Is there a website, or should they be contacting the department?
Right. Contacting the department will be your best way. We'll have more information on the town website, definitely on the Park and Rec page in regards to as we learn more. Right now, I would be rather hesitant, really, because I don't have much more information than what I've shared with you exactly right here and now. Mm-hmm. But like I said, as we go forward into this week and next, because the manufacturer still needs to work with scheduling and hiring the installer and going through that process, and they've got a number of them, so they'll have to go through their construction schedules as well. But most definitely, anyone and everyone that would like to be put on that list in preparation for whatever date is secured within February and leading up to that during the week, most definitely I would encourage them to call us. there at the department. Again, our number is 759-3090, and we'll be able to get that put into play, but I do not have many more details regarding date or time right now.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to new business, and the item remaining under there is a work-study meeting on Tuesday, January 27th, 2015. And I think that date was picked, everybody kind of made a consensus on that date. So we need a motion to approve work-study on January 27th. That would be at 5:30 in the Parks and Rec conference room.
The topic's going to be?
The topic's going to be developments, guidelines, and that's going to be a big issue for us. We might touch a little bit on master planning, and probably by then maybe even update you on a few of the items going on. So, but development guidelines will be the big thing. So do we have a motion to approve the January 27th work study?
I make a motion that we approve.
And a second?
January 27th, work study, 5:30 p.m.
And a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the work study for Tuesday, January 27th at 5:30 p.m. in the Parks and Rec Department conference room is approved. Next item is unscheduled public appearances. I don't think we have any tonight, so we will move on to our next meetings, the work study on January 27th, and then our regular meeting on February 10th. And then the last item is adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.